So hello guys, and welcome to another video. And lately, the Mario franchise seemed to be going through a lot of changes. This shift is something that Nintendo was seemingly building up to throughout the Switch era, and was fully cemented after the movie and the release of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And before anyone mentions it in the comments, no, I didn't say that any of these games had any influence from the movie, I just meant that they've been releasing after the movie. A lot of these changes may be jarring to some people because for so many years, certain elements in the Mario franchise stayed pretty stagnant. So I could definitely understand why some people are kind of worried about some of these changes and are a bit concerned about some things, but I don't think this is anything to be worried about, and honestly, I think at this point, I feel like we should probably be used to change, or at least be more adapted for changes in the franchise. Because, really, it seems more like the natural evolution of the franchise, rather than something that's kind of throwing it off course. And, if you don't know what I mean, there are a lot of consistent changes that have been going on lately, such as the new voice actors, most notably Kevin Afghani for Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi. At first it was pretty jarring, especially in WarioWare Move It with Wario, but in games like Mario & Luigi Brothership, he's doing absolutely incredible with Mario and Luigi. And then there's also some other things like new character designs. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with the Booster Course Pass, as well as Super Mario Party Jamboree, we saw a brand new design for Rocky Wrenches, and I think it's safe to assume that a few other enemies might be getting some designs in the near future, since we also got other things like the Amps getting a slightly new design lately. Then there's also the Magic Koopas, with the ones other than Kamek having orange robes, seemingly, because they did this change in Brothership, though I'm not sure if this will be a consistent change or not. That's just all we know so far. Then there's also name changes as well, like Bonsai Bills now being called Bomber Bills, that started off in the LEGO sets, but then was in the movie, and then now was confirmed to be in the games in Super Mario Party Jamboree. And we also saw things like Yoshi having a longer neck, like in some of his renders for Mario Party, as well as his design in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And then there's also things like Peach getting like different renders for things like Peach Showtime, which was actually a little bit of a controversy. It was kind of funny because it was after I made a tweet last year about Mario fans like being more tolerant to change than Sonic fans, but now I know that isn't necessarily the case. And then there's Mario and Luigi getting a new developer with Acquire. I think that's still something we're gonna have to get used to, even though I do think they did an excellent job with Brothership. And while it is completely fair and understandable to have criticism based on these various changes here, I can definitely understand why some people may have to adjust to some of these. I think it's important to understand that the Mario franchise regularly goes through changes. Two notable changes happened in like the early 2000s, when going between the Nintendo 64 and GameCube, where a lot of the modern designs were created, and another was the early 2010s, around the late Wii era, early 3DS era, when they were kind of shifting into that more New Super Mario Bros.-esque style. So it definitely is pretty normal to have like changes going on in the franchise about every 10 years or so. So this just seems to be like the next iteration of that. Like this is seemingly the third big change in the modern 3D era of Mario. And despite this change being a little jarring for some, Mario fans have only experienced a fraction of what other fan bases have experienced. The change that is going on in the franchise right now really seems to be nothing compared to like something like Sonic. Because Sonic, like, while it is getting like a good footing in with games like Shadow Generations and great movies like Sonic 3, for a while, like every few years we got games that were just either kind of meh, or some games that were hits, like Sonic Mania and different things like that. And then some that were pretty good for some, but not as good for others, and kind of were a bit controversial, like Sonic Frontiers. I still have yet to play that game. I do want to play it at some point, because it does look interesting. But Sonic, it really did seem for like quite a while that things weren't really consistent. But even with these changes, the Mario franchise seems to be more consistent in a lot of ways, and I feel like the fan base really needs to realize that. I'm not saying that, like, against Sonic or anything, because, like, I mean, like, there are plenty of amazing Sonic games. It just seems like the franchise has been less consistent. I just think that is, like, a somewhat objective thing to say, like, compared to Mario. Not necessarily, like, quality-wise, it just seemed, like, to be inconsistent in various ways. So, I feel like I said, the Mario fans kind of need to realize that in some ways. And it's also important to realize that the things that most of us love about the Mario franchise will still be here despite these changes. Like, the games that have been releasing lately are still very charming, well-designed, and polished. So there isn't really much to worry about, like, quality-wise, because it seems like they still are keeping up with that, and we still will have, like, a lot of the things that we've loved from the Mario franchise. Like, Mario Wonder was an excellent 2D Mario game, and we even are seeing some things come back, like classic Paper Mario and Mario & Luigi. Despite some of these recent changes, it seems like they're definitely pushing the Mario RPGs quite a lot. And if anything, this new era of Mario is more creative than most eras of Mario. I feel like it's kind of similar to, like, how the franchise was during the 2000s again. They're not really afraid to take risks and do things that are really interesting. Especially with things like Mario & Luigi Brothership, and of course, Wonder, like I already mentioned. But yeah, I think the franchise is definitely going in a very good direction right now, and I don't really think there's anything to worry about. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Goodbye.